All right, I just got done wrestling with the antenna, the real long one. I had it aimed at Philly, and then I decided to. Is this thing flickering again? Uh, the light flickers. Let me. Yeah, it's the plug doesn't make great contact. Uh, so I wrestled with it, and on the way out of the tip on there's insulation in the attic. There was a cable television wire running through. It's under the insulation for the different rooms of the house. I snagged one of them, and that got on the aerial. So I'm up there a little bit longer than I wanted to be there. I had trouble unscrewing the connector from the antenna. In order to move the antenna, I had to disconnect it, and I aimed it over at Delaware. Now, now I'm going to forget the other stupid Maryland. Um, Maryland. If I try to aim at Maryland, I'm aiming at my aluminum siding goes up on one, it goes all the way up on one side of the house. And if I aim out through that aluminum siding, there's another house next to it. This is a duplex. One wall has an adjoining house. One wall, the aluminum siding goes all the way up to the peak. It's not vinyl, it's aluminum with vinyl on it. I know just what it is. I had it on my other house. So there's the proper angle to come out over from Philly. I had it, and I get nothing. I mean, nothing from Delaware with that antenna. You figure you'd get a signal that drops in and out. I'm not certain, but it could be interference from the aluminum siding. I might need a couple more angles to the right up there, but I can't have it because there's aluminum siding there. So I know now. I have all the markets checked. Now the Harrisburg market, I get three channels on it. Uh, yeah, three channels. I get PBS, Fox, and what's the other one? CBS. But those have subchannels. But what's wrong with the Fox has always been the problem is the tree in the backyard has gotten so big that if the wind is blowing at all, that breaks up the signal and you start getting pixelation. If it's calm out, it works fine. PBS doesn't do that. So that market, I can pull off PBS with no pixelation, and I can pull off PBS and CBS 21, which has some. It had a show on there. It had the porn, porn stars on. I was watching that last night, so I know what I can get with a powerful antenna with an amplifier going towards Harrisburg, going towards Philly. I get a bunch of stations. And that's what I did last year or a year before. I just said, let me put the damn antenna at Philly and live with those stations. So I now have, with the combiner, I can have two markets, Harrisburg and Philly. Now, what was bothering me, which I bought this antenna in the manual show, I'm showing it, was I was hoping that the 10 points of signal that I got from 29 would go up a little bit. It stayed at 10. And I know the antenna is aimed exactly at Philly, at the tower. And I know that because I have it marked up there. Anyway, so I have Philly and I have Harrisburg. Now I have more channels than most people get, but you get greedy. And I keep wanting to have Laugh again, maybe movies, maybe the Weather Channel for Philly. I would like that. But what's happening is I can't get 29, which about a week and a half ago, it started working. And I didn't do nothing. All I do is a rescan. So I just wrote the guy a message, and I'll give it till tomorrow afternoon, then I'll go in deeper. I might call him on the phone. I do see the pattern. It's a figure eight or an infinity sign, and it's parallel to me, the infinity sign. The two lobes, there's one on the right and one on the left, and I'm in the null. So that's probably what the problem is. But I was hoping the new antenna would pull in 29. It doesn't. But I'm thankful that when last week when I did the other set of videos that I could actually combine two networks or two markets together. And that worked. And that gave me more channels, more clickability, more surfing. And that's what I do. Just before I go to bed, I click the channel clicker, and I surf around and I looks at something and we're watching it. And it'd be like the Honeymooners, which today they took off. That's the other thing you put up with. You get a favorite channel and or a favorite program, and then they repack. Or they don't repack, they reschedule. And you lose it. Like I said, I used to watch Frasier. And it was kind of funny. There was some funny moments, but it would also be very relaxing. And I'd watch Frasier, then I'd shut it off and I'd go to bed. Now it's the King of Queens. Uh, Knowing that girl in real life is a pain in the butt to deal with. The guy that lives in the basement, who used to be George Costanza's father, I don't want to think about his real name, but anyway, uh, his act is funny after you see it once or twice, but it's not funny all the time. So that show, what did I say? I don't put up with it. I tolerate it. There's the word, tolerate. But I now know what my three markets are, and I know I can't get Maryland. Right? I thought I could snag Delaware, but it's further away. And going down the street, actually at the end of the street, there's trees down there. So, and if I use the antenna web, there's probably some ridges in the way, like mountains. Yeah, I think there is a ridge down by the Mennonite school. There's actually a mountain at the end of my street. So I don't get any signal at all from Delaware, but you have to check. Yeah, and I did. I know what my markets are. I know what channels I can get, and I'm pretty sure I know which antenna I'm going to put in one place. I got the combiner. I was thinking if I could snag a station from Delaware, I would put a third antenna on the television. So we're back to two. We only got two networks that we can get stations from. So it's all working out. But I wanted to, show you. I go the extra mile whenever I was trying to take my nap, and I kept thinking about it. Oh, I get up there. I hate being on that pull-down ladder. I'm only a few years younger than Trump is, and my legs swell from edema. It's the same sort of thing, but he's got heart failure, and his ankles really swell. Mine swell a little bit. When you got the shoes on, you can feel it swelling. But he's got heart failure, and that's what my dad had. And we won't go into that, but you can take medicine for it, and for a while, you think you're doing really well. And if you don't change your diet, which Trump won't, you die. So that's where we're at with that. But I just, I was getting a little greedy. I was able to get the two markets, Harrisburg and Philly, and combine them together. And I'm like, well, maybe I can get a third one. Or maybe when I put the antenna in Philly, I'm going to get all new stations, and they'll have the sub channels that are better. And, maybe I'll get a few stations I can't get here. I can't get Defy anymore. And you start thinking that way. And I have the antenna. Also, it's a matter of going up that pull-down ladder. And, when I pull the antenna out, the tip is in the insulation. That pink foam? No, pink. It's Dow Corning, right? Pink Panther kind? Pink Dow Pink? Well, anyway, they blow that in there in these houses. And the antenna hooked on that. But this time, it hooked on an old cable television wire. And man, it didn't want to come out, and it's so dark up in there. And I'm like, finally, I used the flashlight, and I could see, and I'm like, which way did I twist this? And then it wouldn't go back. It wouldn't go back. I got it out. I got the antenna reset up and put in. I got it where I wanted it, and then I put the wire back on it, and then I come down here and did a rescan. And my rescan on my television, it's a digital TV, it's LCD. But the scan takes forever. It's really meticulous. And sometimes it'll pull up some type of noise that night. It'll lock on maybe somebody's Wi-Fi. I don't know. But it sometimes pulls up something that's just, when I go on it, it's a buzzing noise of some sort. Somebody's charging something. Because these houses are all electric, and our power lines go underground. And when somebody's cooking, I'm in a duplex. When somebody's cooking, it's an electric stove. I can hear the thermostats in the stove clicking on and off. And but there, I shouldn't get too greedy. But I was hoping that I could get the ABC affiliate. And you think, oh, I also have to do is go up, turn the antenna, and then someone says, "We'll get a rotor." Well, I'm going to tell you something. Philly and Harrisburg are 180 degrees out from each other. They're not next to each other. And I've done all the experiments. Put two antennas on the same combiner and see if it didn't. It didn't increase that 29. There's something wrong with that 29. And once I actually understand, if the guy gets back to me, I'll let it go. But right now, I'm like, I watch the antenna guy, and where he is, he's able to snag 29. It's low. It's always low where he is. But over here, it's lower. And, you know, if I was back in New Jersey, having the stuff was on the Empire State Building. And then later on, you know, they blew the Trade Center up. But my antenna was on the Trade Center when they blew it up. And then within a couple of weeks, they put a boom up somewhere. And they were in the paper told us to turn our antennas. And I did. And it was funny. It took a while for the cable companies to get the locals back on the cable. And my neighbors were complaining, we're getting Philly stations. I said, well, they just have them on there until they can make a deal, whatever they did. But they put a big tower up, a temporary tower, and I had to turn my antenna. And then I was watching a new episode of Friends the night they turned the new antenna on, and they had the boom up and the new antenna, and they were transmitting the same channel, the same program, and the poor digital box was trying to bring both of them in, and it was crazy. Actually, I take that back. Channel 4 they were on, it wasn't digital yet. It became digital when I got out here, but it was receiving two signals, and one was delayed from the other one. You know, Phoebe would say something, then she'd say it again. And I remember all these days. I'm an antenna guy, and I had to go up and loosen the nuts on my mast, and I could do it through the window, and that's how I did it. I did the tall window by the peak of the roof of the house. I had the antenna mounted alongside that, and I could maintain the wire and everything by dropping the antenna down there, fixing it and pushing it back up. I had it all figured out so I wouldn't have to go up the ladder. You know, one of the guys in the comments talked about the ladder going on the roof. It's not going to happen. All right, it's not going to happen. I'm 73 years old, and that pull-down ladder kills me. It's killer. There's no padding on those steps, and you get up there and you go to undo the terminal on the antenna, the connector, and it won't turn. Now I got to come down that stupid stairs, go get a pair of pliers. Oh, and you have to fold it back up in order to go to the room to get the pliers. So there's a lot involved. You know, just to get up there and move the antenna, there's preparation involved. And then, you know, like I said, I hooked an old cable TV wire, and that got, oh man, I'm like, come on. You know, in my mind, you just go up, you lift, you pull back. No, that antenna is 8 feet long. When I start bringing it back, it starts hitting the joist on the other wall. That's how long 8 feet is when you're in the peak of the attic. And that's where I was. I think that's it. All right, that's it for now.